Hello and welcome back to the Mods Podcast, bringing the backbone of the internet to the forefront to give their perspectives as moderators. So grab your sword and ready your band hammers, as today the hosts look back at their first time as moderators. Oh my God, Karen, you can't just ask people why they're white. We'll get back into reminiscing a little bit. Why don't you guys talk about your first experience modding? Which I think Dave and John, same channel. Let's reminisce on that. Like, let's reminisce on the first time that you guys were modded and what that was like.
I was a clueless dope because I was still trying to figure out how Twitch worked, let alone modding it. So my first ban wasn't for a good month after I was modded because I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I'm like, well, I can't figure out how to make it work, so I'm going to do other things, like goof around, keep chat moving, stuff like that. Once I figured it out, I'll never forget the day I figured it out because Amber was like, holy shit, Dave figured it out. He banned someone. Happy first.
She did the same thing for me, too.
Yeah, I remember. So, and once I figured it out, it was like the light bulb came on and I started figuring out more. But yeah, for the first month, I was clueless. I was like, man, and I felt horrible because I didn't know what the hell I was doing or what to do, and because I couldn't figure it out.
So the first channel I was ever a mod for was, I'm pretty sure this is like way back before any of you were ever on the site. I was originally made to be a moderator because it was a guy playing Mortal Kombat with his friend over Xbox Live on the 360. And in chat, I was just a regular, regularly talking, and I was keeping the score between this person just won a match, they are now winning, and then the streamer, because he was having fun listening to the comments, but he realized that we weren't able to hear it because he had his video to not play out the TV, which means that it wasn't being picked up by his capture card. So we switched over to that, and you just hear all of a sudden the voice of, I swear to God, if that Leon fucker gives you another goddamn point, I'm going to ban him and I'm going to kill him and I'm going to just spray his guts all over the entire chat, followed immediately by, whoa, let's mod him so you can't do that. I was originally given a mod so I didn't get banned by the person who was getting salty for losing at Mortal Kombat. That's my first channel that I was ever given mod for.
The first stream I ever modded for was a friend of mine. He was a Fortnite gamer and didn't have any problem with trolls. He just needed someone to do shout outs for him. So that's what I did. I just kind of shouted out for him when needed. And then another one is an IRL friend. He used to be big on YouTube, and then he moved over to Twitch, and his mother had just passed away, and a couple kids come into chats, and they're saying some very disrespectful things about the streamer's mother, and then they started trying to clip when he started to break down, and he asked me if I could help clean up chat for him because he wanted to stream because his mother enjoyed watching him stream and it was kind of his therapy, but reading some of the remarks from these trolls were really getting to him, so I stepped in, and that's when I learned how to ban. Then I started watching a few art streamers, and I had a little experience with being able to ban people, so she had took me under her wing as far as teaching me the ropes, as far as how Twitch run and what needs to happen. And then I think there was one other art stream before I met Buddha. So I mean, I was still extremely green, and I knew basically some of the stuff as far as art and gaming, but as far as the body paint TOS, I was pretty clueless. But I knew what it was like to be a gentleman, and things. If it wasn't something you would say to your mom or grandma or in church, you definitely shouldn't be saying it in chat. So when I got modded in Buddha stream, it was basically try to get rid of all these derogatory comments towards women and what the guys were doing to themselves. It would just get rid of all that stuff. My original start was shouting out a gamer.
Well, mine was, I started about the same time Dave did, I think. And it was, I didn't know what I was doing at the time. And eventually, I started hitting buttons on my, or just, going through stuff on my phone. and figuring out what was what and how to do shout outs and things like that. And my very first ban I got was on one of her Sunday streams. And Sunday was the day that I usually hung out with my stepdad. And I took him to the local Aldi's here, and we're walking through the store, and he's mumbling to me about something, and I just, some guy said something pretty horrible to Amber, and I just banned him right then and there. I wasn't having it. And yeah, she just sort of, she's like, oh, wow, did John just get his first ban? But basically, that's where it started, and then other people would show up in her stream, and I would follow them, and then eventually I just, started modding for them. That's basically how it went.
All of you learning the commands through buttons. I had to type them in.
Well, technically you did too. You had to type on the buttons.
I was going to say, so most of you guys kind of learned by doing research and having to teach yourself how to mod, or like that's what it sounds like. You guys mostly initially started modding and had to kind of figure it out on your own. There wasn't really anybody that was able to teach you what to do off the bat.
Well, yeah, for me, it was just type exclamation SO and then the username. That was it. And then, like I say, for the one I got modded, and it's like, just please clean up chat. So I had to figure out, it's like, all right, well, what does this button do? Uh-oh, they're gone. Wait, that's what I meant to do. What does this button do? Oops, I shouldn't have done that. So yeah, but the third stream, the art stream, she took me under her wing, and she kind of showed me how all the buttons work and how to do specific timeouts. And it wasn't until my third stream when I actually got semi-formal training on what to do, but otherwise it was just guess and hope I did it correctly.
It's funny how you're using the term formal training, because I have a different perspective from the three of you of actually being a member of staff. And one of the things that I was actually responsible for outside of helping with the site coding and such was making sure that people knew how to actually be a moderator and how to actually bring some semblance of order and an organization to a chat while doing corporate streams. So that technically was my job for a while, was teaching people, this is how you be a mod, this is what this button does. If this button doesn't work, because keep in mind, this site's still new and odds are it's not going to work. This is the command you type to do it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, for me, basically, it was just, okay, how do I do this? How do I do that? And I had no problem asking in chat.
No, neither did I. I actually would talk to one of her other mods that had been doing it a little bit longer and and had the basics. They helped me out a lot.
Yeah, between the Pike, Dave, and Leon, I was like, okay, how do I do this? How do I do that? And you guys would usually be like, okay, do you type in this and that? And I'm like, oh, okay. Like I said, I didn't have a problem asking questions and learning how to do it. I was just like, well, I have a responsibility to do something. I should know how to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I was just curious because I think like right now, I think that especially with how close-knit everything was for the last 2 years, I feel like there's been an active effort to be willing to train mods on other channels.
Since I've been modding so many streams, some of the smaller streamers that are just starting out, they'll have me hop on to kind of give them pointers of how to mod and as streamers, because as streamers, if you don't have a mod, you should at least know how to mod your chat in that scenario. I tend to help a bunch of the smaller, newer streamers get started, and they'll have people that they've known for quite some time that they trust to do the mod stuff, and I'll kind of pass my knowledge on to them and like, all right, this is how you do this, and just kind of give them a little bit of that training that I never had and had to learn myself, and just give them a leg up in the right direction. And most of the time, I don't get unmodded just for the simple case that if they need any more assistance, I can step in at any time. I've been trying to train them and give them the knowledge that I had to discover on my own.
That makes sense. You wouldn't want them to struggle as much as you did if you want them to be able to do the job right off the bat.
Exactly, because I mean, when you mod, especially for the body painting community, and as much as the TOS changes and the different rules, not all of the other mods are up to date on that. Sometimes they'll have a question of like, oh yes, you can take a shot on stream. It's like, no, no drinking for bits or donuts or anything. That's against TOS. And they'll ask why. It's like, well, it can be considered self-harm because someone could come in and drop 100 subs and you'd be supposed to take 100 shots, and that's never good for anybody. And I never thought of that way. And so it's nice to be able to step in and at least give your 2 cents and help out, because like I say, a lot of streamers, they don't know the TOS. They don't know what could get them in trouble, and sometimes they do get a suspension or a strike or a ban, and they'll have no clue why. And I'll watch the VOD, or I'll been there and be like, well, this is why, and this is how you can go about trying to get your channel back, or how to correct the problem. I enjoy helping. If I can help keep someone from messing up just because, I don't want to say they're ignorant, but just because they're not as informed as they could be. I mean, that's why I'm there. I'm there to help.
Thank you for listening to the Mods Podcast. We have new episodes every Thursday on YouTube. Leave a comment below if you have any questions for the mods, and tell us if you know our intro reference of the week. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to support the project. Our mod team can be found as D Pigment, MrPike1, Darklight2879, and Leon Hart on Twitch, where they moderate for the Bad Luck Buddha. So stop by, say hi, and let us know what topics you want to hear about in the future.